Well, hello and welcome. Good evening, everybody, on today's presentation. My name is Claudia Eifert, and I'm going to host this presentation for Swissquote Global today. And we do have a little bit later our founder and CEO coming on board, who's going to, like always, have you all the questions and answers, or questions basically which you have answered. So welcome to everybody from all around the world. It's really great to have you on this beautiful summer night here in Switzerland, where I am right now. And I understand there's a lot of people here from all kinds of places in Europe, as well as the United States and other parts of the world. I believe Australia is a little bit early, still in the morning, but while we're still waiting for a few people to come aboard, because I see a lot of people logging in as right now, I hope you had all a, or you're having all a great start of the summer here. And I hope you're all going to be excited to listen to what Swissquote Global actually is gonna bring you. So I just do a little sound check if the slides are going to change. And yes, we have our founder and CEO coming on board. He just confirmed he is in Dubai as we speak right now. So hello and everybody, hello and welcome to everybody again, because that's still people joining us now. Now, one of the questions I would like to ask for all the new people, especially on the call, who have never listened to a presentation of Swissquote Global, because we're gonna, of course, in the next 20 minutes talk about what Swissquote Global is, and we're gonna show you how to make money, residual income with Swissquote Global, and we're going to have those questions which you have answered. But before that, I really would like to ask you a question, and I would like that you guys really put your thinking hat on. Now, have you ever thought about what it would actually mean to own your life? Just think about it. What would it mean for each of you to own your life? Well, I know once I was asked these questions, now quite some years ago, it's actually more than a decade ago, I didn't really understood, I didn't really know. My mentors, some of my mentors, especially Don and Nancy Faylard, who showed me a way how to build residual income, well, they told me, they said, look, Claudia, most people, they are so stressed out with their life. They have to commute to work. They have so many things to do. They have long hours working. And then when they come home, do they actually have time to do what they wish to do? But then do they have money to do what they actually wish to do? And most likely it is you don't have the time. But then if you have some time to do things, most likely the things you really wish to do, you don't have the money for. And so they basically showed me, look, we have a system which we are working since now many, many years, which can show you how to actually exactly create time for yourself, but also have money. And one of my other mentors, Bob Proctor, when I started being coached by Bob Proctor, and he says, similar to Warren Buffett, which of course everybody knows, but Bob Proctor, who is also a coach in Swissquote Global, so he has his programs in Swissquote Global as well, and he's one of the world's renowned authors, and he said to me, I remember that very vividly, he said, Claudia, you got to find a way to make more money while you sleep that you can spend when you are awake. And Warren Buffett says, if you don't find a way to make more money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Most people, they do their day-to-day things. They don't really think. That's just, they think that's the way, it is. But it's actually not. There are so many great opportunities. There's so many great possibilities. There's so many things you can do. But unfortunately, very often we think we cannot do that, or we don't have the skills or the quality. So we're going to show you how today, of course, to get involved in cryptocurrency, how to learn that new skill set, mindset, what cryptocurrency obviously is, and how to get paid daily from that. And we're going to show you how to make income passively, daily, weekly, and monthly through the Swissquote Global system, and how to inflation proof your money with gold and silver. Now, that may sound all like inflation-proof like gold and silver, what does it really mean? Well, I'm going to talk about that in the next few minutes, as I said. We are living in a very changing world. I'm in Switzerland right now. Tomorrow I'm back in Germany. So I'm traveling. I mean, we really live in this world which is getting every time smaller. And that, of course, has to do a lot with digital technologies, because digital technologies have really changed the way we actually do live. In fact, we can't live really without them anymore, right? So the evolution, on the other hand side, of money, which of course many years, thousands of years ago, started, of course, with the first ones they used shells, and then it went from shells into stones, into other things, up to gold, and from gold we now, of course, use mobile phones for to do a payment. So just a few years ago, in fact, just a decade ago, that mobile phone wouldn't have looked like this. This would have looked, of course, very different, way bigger, with way less functionality. And so nowadays, today, with this new cryptocurrency, I can literally pay anybody who accepts Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency peer-to-peer without any intermediary, very simple, with my smartphone. And I don't need to have a bank. I can send the money anywhere in the world. So if you would be, because we have people from Ghana on the call, if you have a cryptocurrency wallet in Ghana, well, I can send you my Bitcoin, which I've been mining with Swissco Global, because I maybe want to purchase some products and services in Ghana. Maybe I want to just send you some money. Maybe I'm a foreign worker and I have family in Ghana I want to support. I can do that now through Bitcoin, and there's plenty of places in Ghana, this is an example, where you can then exchange, trade your Bitcoin for your local currency, or even buy goods and services with Bitcoin. And so that's really amazing what we can do with this technology nowadays. But there is a big problem. As everything, of course, is never everything going very smooth. There's also big problems. And right now we are living in a world very much in debt, a world literally in bankruptcy. I mean, we have people from the United States on the call, and I'm sure they very well know about Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico certainly went into bankruptcy. Now, we had, of course, here in Europe, we have Greece. We have in Central America, where I've been spending my winter, just recently, Venezuela, hyperinflation. I was just talking last week with somebody from Argentina, because I'm building a global team in Argentina. Just from January this year to now, their currency, their Argentinian peso, has lost 35% of its purchasing power. So we see this world in debt. We see this very tough realities, jobs getting less, we have stagnant wages, we have rising prices. So basically, as Wall Street, in this movie 20 years ago, when it was, I believe, done, or even maybe more than 20 years, and of course there's Wall Street 1, Wall Street 2, great movies. You got a ninja generation, no income, no jobs, no assets. If you talk to any young person all over the world, it really doesn't matter if you are in a very great and secure, supposed to be secure place as Switzerland. Anywhere in the world, you face the same problem. This all has to do with, I'm going to show you in the next few slides, with, of course, fiat currency. And so we see modern slaves, they are not in chains, they are in debt, they're in chains of debt. Visa, MasterCard, American Express. Why? Because they were inundated with very cheap credits. Now, I remember my parents, or my grandparents would say, well, because it was a different generation. We would not even borrow something. We would never borrow something. If we couldn't afford it, well, I'm sorry, we couldn't have it. But now, this is a different world. Everybody is just borrowing. Well, there is a time where you have to pay it back. But what's happening when you can't pay it back? And so we see, of course, older generations now having to work different jobs. Why? Well, because their pension is not enough anymore. It doesn't last. So all those things, of course, which are going in the world, trade wars, we have currency wars, we have a huge global crisis. And this is, I mean, this is starting. It's starting with something really, really big. And I believe the biggest wealth transfer certainly is on our doorstep. So we see the QE1 and QE2, and most people don't even understand what it means. It means artificial money printing. Why? That's what they did a lot. Like never in history before, printed out of thin air so much money to basically sustain that huge problem they had back in 2007, 2008, with, of course, in America, the banking crisis and the housing bubble. So otherwise, they had to do all those bailouts, too big to be failed. Well, somehow they needed to sustain them. They needed to bail them out. What did they do? They printed more money. But remember, my parents always said, my grandparents, you cannot, if you don't have the money, well, you can't get it. That's just the way it is. So if you don't have enough money to pay it, well, you can't buy it. So, but unfortunately, this has totally changed because they don't have this mentality anymore. They think, well, cheap money floats into the market, and of course, eventually this will crash. And so the whole problem which we are facing, that whole problem why people need to look for other income opportunities, the problem why people need to really, for necessity, do other jobs which they may not have studied for, is because of fiat currency, which is the cause for our economic miseries. And that has to do a lot with the globalists, which really have enslaved us. And only gold and silver and Bitcoin can actually free us from that. But therefore, we got to understand it. And so I don't want to make it too much into a teaching lesson, but it's very important that you guys understand it. Every fiat currency, doesn't matter, we have guys from America on the call, from Argentina, from Venezuela, from different parts in Europe. We have people from Africa on this call right now, and I know there will be people in Australia and in parts of Asia listen to the replay of this presentation. You all trading your time for money, which probably is fiat currency, paper currency. Well, when we look at just the different actually the fate of 775 currencies in study, we look 23% here only currently in circulation of that 775. 24 ended through monetary reforms, and then 12 ended through acts of independence, and 21 were destroyed by wars, and 20% were destroyed by hyperinflation. And that above chart excludes actually many of the currencies of medieval Asia, as well as Chinese banknotes prior to 1935. Okay, and so 1935, that is not even 100 years ago. We are 18. So our founder's mother, basically, she was basically born in these years. Imagine all those currencies which are not anymore here. So what if you worked hard and put your money aside in fiat currency? Well, you have to constantly put more money aside, because that fiat currency every 8 years is losing 50% of its purchasing power. So if you think you do a bank term deposit and you put it away for 7 or 8 years, and you think you get dividends on it, well, the inflation has already eaten up everything. So your $100 bill is only worth $50 in 8 years, because it purchases your only goods and services for $50. And this is the huge problem. This is what of course the media is not telling you, which is no education telling you, no university, they don't tell you that stuff, because they measure inflation in different products. And so when you look at the purchasing power of the United States dollars, of course, in 1913 to now, well, 2013, and actually, well, of course, 2018, even worse, it's less than 5 cents. In fact, it's less than 4 cents now, the purchasing power than it would bought you 100 years ago, that $100 notes. And you see it better in comparison to gold. And that is why everybody needs to own gold. That's why the rulers, the wealthy people, the rich people, they all own gold. They all have a portion of their portfolio, not all, but a good portion of their portfolio in gold and silver. And we look at $100 bill note, which everybody knows. Well, only some years ago, not so long, in 1971, that $100 would buy you that beautiful 100-gram bar. And I'm in Switzerland now, otherwise I would show you. I don't have it right now here. I'm not at my home. That $100 bill would buy you that 100 gram of gold. Well, today, that same $100 bill, which is still in existence, only buys you 3%, a little tiny corner here of that gold bar. Isn't that interesting? Well, indeed it is. Gold has held its value for thousands of years, and what matters is not really the price, but its purchasing power. So in Roman times, we go back, of course, thousands of years, you could buy with an ounce of gold a beautiful toga leather sandals. And 100 years ago, with 1 ounce of gold, the same. You could dress yourself in a beautiful, nice Armani suit. Yet, 100 years ago, you could also buy 1 ounce of gold with $20. So ask yourself the question today, what could you actually buy with $20? What could you buy? Could you buy a beautiful Armani suit? You're certainly not. I think you can't even buy some socks for $20. Yet for this 1 ounce of gold, if you were to sell it, doesn't matter where in the world, if you were to sell it, you could still dress yourself beautifully. So that's the concept which I really want you to understand, that you ask yourself the question, do you currently own gold or silver? And if the question is basically no, I don't, then we have, of course, the right vehicle for you, and I hope that you get started after seeing that. Now, Bitcoin is very similar, or well, we can't, okay, maybe I have to be careful with that wording, similar, but Bitcoin has similar characteristics like gold and silver. In fact, Bitcoin, like gold and silver, needs real hard labor in order to create, to produce it. Gold, you need to dig it out of the crust of the earth, so you need a lot of heavy machineries to dig it out and to refine it, to put it into a really beautiful, you see, like I have this chain here, beautiful golden heart. It's a Kinder heart. It's actually a 5-gram bullion bar. In order to refine that, it takes a lot of labor. Yet Bitcoin is the same deal. It just is a different kind of labor. It's a lot of machines which are running at high speed, a lot of power which is consumed basically to create that Bitcoin. Yet the printing of a fiat currency is, you just push a button, you put a paper, I guess, in, and you print it, and that's it. There's no labor attached to it. Gold, like Bitcoin, is a decentralized currency. It's not centralized. It's not government by nobody. It's not government by nobody. Yet, of course, any fiat currency, well, a government, a central bank, issues that currency. And of course, they can just print as much as they like. Well, what's happening if I borrow as much money and they just give me free credits, and I borrow and I borrow and borrow? Well, eventually, I need to pay that back, don't I? Eventually they want to collect that money back which they have borrowed me, and if I can't pay it back, well, big things are going to happen, certainly. So I don't want it to actually happen to me, because you have to pay it back, right? So and that's why, of course, the bailing out came in the United States, was, of course, it started with all this printing of money. They just artificially printed more money, but eventually that must collapse. And so 8 years ago, of course, this Laszlo Hanyas, who paid 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 pizzas, because nobody knew Bitcoin really. Bitcoin hadn't created a value. Why? Because nobody knew Bitcoin, nobody used Bitcoin. There were no applications. There were no applications on the smartphone. There were no usability really of Bitcoin. Nowadays, I have been showing people, I've been traveling to Argentina I paid my flight in Argentina. I paid my hotel in, sorry, not hotel, not I paid a hotel in Vietnam, because in Argentina I stayed with a friend, but I paid beautiful. I bought some clothes, I bought shopping, I did food shopping, I invited to the restaurant, all with my Bitcoin. And when I stayed 2 months actually almost 2 years ago in Vietnam, I paid for my hotels, the rooms I stayed in Bitcoin. So there is a real usability. 8 years ago, there was not so much, but as more people get involved, more people will say, hey, you know what? Well, I don't want to transfer from Switzerland money to Germany, and then the Swiss franc needs to first exchange to the US dollar, from the US dollar into the German, basically the euro. I'm losing all the time in all these transaction fees. Well, why can't I just interact peer-to-peer? And that is what Bitcoin does. You don't need the intermediary anymore. So this Laszlo, he paid $10,000 for this Bitcoin because he was hungry and wanted 2 pizzas. And of course, nowadays, of course, fast falling forward, this is an increase of absolutely ridiculous number. So that guy who actually collected the 10,000 Bitcoin is, of course, wealthy beyond anybody's dreams, I guess. So imagine you or if you would have had this knowledge, actually, imagine that you would have had this knowledge. Well, the thing is, knowledge is never lost. And people always ask me, is it too late to get into Bitcoin? Is it too late? Well, as you always say, it's not too late. It's, the best time was probably, of course, when Bitcoin came out. But the second best time is actually now. So it is certainly not too late to get into Bitcoin. And so my advice to you is, if you haven't started yet, well, get started, create yourself a free account with Swissquote Global, get some mining, and get some gold, and start to learn about cryptocurrency, start to learn more about gold and silver. And as you see here, our CEO, which is of course there in the refinery in Switzerland, standing himself holding a $500,000 bar, he says Swissquote Global is more than actually an opportunity. It's a system for building your own real wealth. And we do have the gold and silver from the best refinery in the world, which is Argo Rios, and you can purchase that in physical grams. It's not paper gold, no. This is actually physical grams, you buy that for 2.97% above market spot. This is absolutely amazing, and you will really not find it anywhere else. Now, Bitcoin and altcoins, we get the mining, we provide the mining for you through a company called Genesis Mining. And of course, once you start mining with us and you see how it works, and you see that it works, well, we have an affiliate revenue income stream. And I joined, of course, Swissquote Global because I saw the vision with what Swissquote Global is doing, but also I learned from Bob Proctor, from Don Nancy Fader, that you have to be or making more money while you sleep, that you can spend it when you are awake, or that you really need to be in charge of your life. You need to own your life. And this is what you learn through our Swissquote Global Academy from these amazing coaches. So just a little bit to finish that up on the history on Swissquote Global. The company was built over 10 years ago now, founded by Bill Rowley. He's a precious metals dealer in the DMCC in Dubai, licensed. And since 2016, we work with Genesis Mining. Genesis Mining is our mining provider for the cloud mining, for the cryptocurrency mining, as you see here, with 2 of the co-founders of Genesis Mining, myself, and this is Bill, and Bill here in the mining farm. So when we look at, people ask me often, well, how can I get Bitcoin? Well, you can get Bitcoin either from buying it from exchange, you may trade it, or you mine with us. And so since most people are not experienced trader, most people don't know when is the best time to buy, the easiest way is actually to mine. Why? Because you don't have to really worry about the price so much. Every day it mines you some Bitcoin. When Bitcoin goes up, all what you have mined goes up. Of course, when Bitcoin goes down, all what you have mined goes down. But if you are for the long end, of course, holding or hodling, how they say, like with gold or silver, and see it more as a insurance, you will win, of course, in the long run. Now, when you mine with Swissco Global, why you should mine with Swissco Global, it's really important to understand that Genesis Mining is one of the largest cloud mining companies in the world. The farms are situated all over the world, and since they are so big, they have just a very different capacity of purchasing those mining rigs, which actually those machines which mine you this cryptocurrency, and have of course a large technical team which mines you. And you, the other advantages of course is you can mine at home if you wish. You can't mine Bitcoin anymore because you would have too much consumption of energy, which is then is not profitable anymore for you unless you live in Venezuela and unless you have a zero energy cost. But since most people don't live in Venezuela, it will be probably too expensive. You may can mine some altcoins at home, yes, absolutely. But the advantages with, of course, mining with us is that you purchase the contract, that's all you need. You have no shipping fees for this equipment. There's no extra customs fees. There is absolutely optimum electricity rates and 100% green energy, and the mining starts immediately. I hear over and over when people say, oh, I bought my own mining rig, but it came broken. It didn't work. The internet went down. There's so many things. Well, here you don't worry because all you do is purchase your contract, mining starts, you get paid. Finito. Very simple. It is simple. The Bitcoin contracts, they're open-ended contract. That means just like in a gold mine, and I like to make this comparison, is so in a gold mine, when you dig gold out of the crust of the earth, there is a difficulty rate, meaning as deeper you have to dig, as harder it will get to take the gold out, as more costly it will be to take the gold out because you need heavier machinery, you need way more labor. With Bitcoin, this is the same deal. You have a difficulty rate. Bitcoin is programmed on the computer, on this, basically on the blockchain. It's the protocol of Bitcoin is not a blockchain. The protocol of Bitcoin is programmed that way that it's getting harder and harder to actually find that Bitcoin, to create that new Bitcoin. All Bitcoins will be created by 2140, which is over 100 years ago, but it is designed that way by Satoshi Nakamoto, who nobody knows who he is or who the company is or whatever this is. We don't know what Satoshi Nakamoto is, but it is designed the way that it's getting more and more harder to actually find that or create that Bitcoin. Now, most of the Bitcoins are already created. 17 million already created. There's only 4 million left, less than 4 million left to be created because it's 21 million. That makes it precious. Why is gold precious? Why doesn't gold lose its value over time? Well, remember that fiat currency I was telling you? They just print more money, just to inflate the market. Imagine there would be gold like sand on the beaches. Gold wouldn't have any value, right? Because there was so much there. Well, with Bitcoin, that's the same. You have 21 million Bitcoins, and that's it. There is no more. So, of course, as more Bitcoins you can accumulate, as more happy you will be at the end, I guess. Why? Because it is precious, it is rare. And that, of course, gives it as well value. So you have the contract time, the open-ended, which means till it is not profitable to be mined anymore. And when this is happening and it's Bitcoin stays unprofitable to mine for 2 months in a row, then your contract basically will be void. You have no contract anymore. But all what you have mined till then is, of course, yours. So from that, then you have a maintenance fee. So, of course, Genesis needs to maintain and always have the latest, deploy the latest equipment, maintain those mining farms, and that costs per gigahash per day 0.000028 cents. 0.00028 cents maintenance fee per gigahash per day, or 28 cents per terahash. That's the unit, that's the speed to what it's mined for you, that Bitcoin. Okay, that's what it costs, and that's what you need to discount. What as soon as you take off once you go to those independent calculator, which I'm going to show you in the internet. Now, of course, if you don't calculate it, you can use those calculator, but of course, when you get your Bitcoin into your wallet, that is already comes deducted from that maintenance fee. So you don't have to do it manually. It's just in the purpose of demonstration when you look into those calculators and you want to see, okay, so how much terahash do I want to buy that to make so much money? So you can see as a starter, basically as a customer, you can start with 0.2 terahash, which of course costs $35.80. You can buy up to 5 terahash in one contract. You can buy various contracts. So one contract, so basically various contracts you can buy as an affiliate. You can buy up to 15 terahash. That would cost you $2,385. Now, if you want to calculate, okay, so how much is this actually making you? That's why we use these calculators. So we use these calculators, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But it's really easy how it works. You choose the contract, get the hash power started, and that's it. It's a simple system. Pretty easy to share, easy to calculate your rewards. So let's say you buy 5 terahash of Bitcoin mining contract. Well, what do? Well, there is a page, or there's different pages on the internet, which are independent calculators, where you basically put in your amount of terahash you want to purchase. You put in your power of consumption 0, the cost per kilowatt 0, the pool fee 0. And it shows you roughly the daily price on Bitcoin. That changes all the time. So don't take my words for granted because it changes. Now this 5 terahash here, as you see, based on the Bitcoin price of 7,541, would actually make you generate your profit of $2.20. Well, remember that is before taking off the 28 cents per terahash per day. Why? Because those calculators don't know, they're independent, they don't know what Genesis charges. And Genesis is the cheapest company in maintaining. So it's the cheapest. There is no other company which has this cheapest maintenance fee. Anyhow, so based on that price and the difficulty rate, we make $2.20, taking off the 28 cents, of course, which is 5 times 28 cents is $1.40. You have a net profit of 80 cents or 0.0001 or 11 basically Bitcoin. That's how you net profit. That changes. If Bitcoin price goes up, well, that price goes up here as well. So the dollar changes always. Then we have, of course, this 15 terahash example. That's 15 terahash based on the Bitcoin. You multiply it 15 times 28 cents, which is $4.20. You take that off of your earnings. You make a net profit of $2.40. Now, remind you, Bitcoin, we don't know how long it's going to be profitable. Nobody knows. Nobody can tell you. Nobody can estimate. Till 2140, all Bitcoin will be mined. The last Bitcoin to mine will be taking like 32 years, something like that. So it could be for years going on your mining. We just don't know that. Nobody really knows it, but you can estimate and do your calculations yourself, which is pretty cool. Now, I like to go and show you, of course, another calculator, which is the AllesComp calculator. The AllesComp calculator, let's say I put in my 15 terahash here, and I changed it, of course, to terahash. I calculate Bitcoin price just rise a little. It did rise a little bit, so it's actually at 7,642 now. So you see, you have a little bit of a bigger reward. It's $6.69 now. But let's just imagine, because people ask me that about. Let's go back to where it was in January. I think in January it was like $15,000. So $15,000. Well, you see, your rewards is very different all of a sudden. Your maintenance fee stays the same. Now let's be crazy and let's look at $20,000 again. I think actually it's not even so crazy, because if we have been there once, we're gonna go get back there again. Of course, that's what all the experts believe. So we're gonna go to $18. Let's be even crazier. Let's put it to $40,000, which also some people predict maybe by next year spring it's gonna go $35,000 or $40,000. Well, you see, our rewards is of course way higher. Now, of course, that also depends on the difficulty rate. Okay, so there's various factors which are taken into account. Anyway, so this is basically what we have for you in store. Now, if you wish to not just depend on Bitcoin, not just depend on what your returns are, which you should certainly consider, is that's what I liked so much when Don and Nancy Feiler told me, we have a system developed, a system where you can actually generate passive income, like basically while you sleep. And so what we do is, of course, we use social marketing or social network as of course a method of distribution. So where traditional marketing, they would market products and services through advertisement and news and all this stuff here. Well, social marketing or social networking, people just like you and me, we like what we see. We like, of course, the products and services, and we share it with our friends, and we get paid, we get rewards through sharing that. We own a global business with that. And as I said, there's two ways actually to join. The customer, of course, that's the person who, joins for free, opens an account, gets KYC compliant, that is know your client, and purchases mining contracts and gets the rewards on a daily basis. And if the customer shares it with others, he can also make 2.5% in more hash power. He can't build a network, but at least he can share the mining with others. Not the affiliate is the one which I really want to ponder on, really talk about it, because that is really what can change your life in the quickest and fastest way, by promoting the product and services through the marketing efforts. So we have 6 ways to get in. That's like you buy your franchise, you buy your business. I mean, you buy your business. If you buy a business, let's say you want to buy a McDonald's or Burger King or whatever, it costs you huge money, probably $200,000 or if not $300,000 or more. Well, here you can own a global business, which you can do anywhere in the world for $170. That's the lowest entry, up to $5,000. Of course, the higher ones, they have different advantages to that ones, but the smaller package, the minor package, they're all one-time entries, but the minor and the silver package, they basically have a monthly membership of $50 where you get product in that $50 each and every month, or Bitcoin mining or silver. And the other packages have that $50 a month already included 12 times $50, so $600 up for 1 year ahead. And the next year, to renew their business affiliation, they just pay $600 if you purchase this package. Okay, there is 9 ways to get paid. I'm going to just touch on the first ones. This is the retail bonus. So anytime you retail gold or silver, you make 1%. Anytime you retail hash power, you make 5% from all your direct referrals. From your indirect customers, you make 2.5% unlimited. Now, that reflects in your purchasing history as a form of bonus. So you see here the bonuses. The day's bonuses basically is hash power added to your contract, which pays you, of course, more money. Now, every time you enroll a new affiliate, as an affiliate, you make a fast start bonus from $35, depending on which package they entered, up to $500, which pays weekly, pays one time. Then you have, of course, the bonus, which Bill touched on last Saturday very much in depth. And this is the bonus which Don and Nancy Filer in the book Own Your Life. If you haven't read this book, I really encourage you to read Own Your Life, the 45-second presentation which changes your life. That's really the income, that's the residual, that's the reoccurring income once you build your network. So your effort is you talk to people, you have 5 people who want to go ahead in life, want to change their life, want to build residual income. You help them, get them started, get them trained with the help of your sponsor or your sponsor, and they are on their $50 monthly ordership. When they are on their $50 monthly ordership, you make $37.50. If you teach them, and they do what you do, and each of them gets their 5 or 4 or 3 or whatever, but let's say in this case they're 5, you make on your second level, which is this case, this is you. It's your first level, that's your second, you make another $225. Now, if days are supposed to do exactly the same what you taught days guys, you make another $537 on your third level, which would be one below here, and up to $245 or more. It really depends on how wide and growth and deep your network is growing. That is the residual income. What did you do? You talked and trained and educated 5 people. That's what you did. So that they talk and train and educate their 5. That is an amazing business. And of course, you get paid on your career in Swissquote Global. So once you achieve your ranks in your career of Swissquote Global, you're going to get, of course, a more cash bonus, as well as golden lifestyle products paid, like a golden Rolex and so on. And then, of course, we have a bonus, get Build to Bedrock bonus, which is really for the first 60 days in your business to get to $1,445 just by introducing free people. By introducing free people, you're going to get to $1,445 by introducing free people, helping those free getting their free in your first 30 days and their first 30 days, so 60 days. Which of course is pretty amazing. Check match bonus, global bonus, and many more. I don't have time to get into it because we want to have Bill talking, of course, if he's on the call. I believe he is. So if you want to build cash flow, be paid to save in gold, silver, and Bitcoin, your next step is to talk to the person who invited you to this presentation. Go back, get back to them, get your question answered, get started. Remember what I said in the beginning. If you don't own any gold or silver yet, if you don't own any gold or silver yet, and Bitcoin, you're going to miss out on the biggest wealth transfer in human history. Because this is right now happening. You just don't understand and don't see it. You shouldn't after this presentation now, because you should really get a grasp on fiat currency, and that you're trading your life for fiat currency, which constantly is losing its value. In fact, every 8 years it's losing 50% of it. Unless you live in Argentina, where in your first 6 months of this year, it already lost 35%. Or you live in Venezuela, where in your last year, it only was 6,000%, I believe, in 1 year. So crazy stats. Anyway, so I want to just see if we have some questions now, because I see them questions. Bill is here. Hi, Bill, how are you? Let's get started with the questions.
Yeah, hi, Claudia, can you hear me? Great. Well, it's great to be on this call. Thanks for presenting this evening. Lots of content there. What specific questions do you have tonight, Claudia? I know that there's a bit of an update regarding the Monero contracts. Maybe I'll touch on that before we get into the Q&A. Okay, so as many of the people may be aware, probably most aren't aware, the Monero contracts, Monero changed, how do I explain this? Probably it's best we probably post the video out on Monero, but primarily they hard forked the Monero algorithm, and therefore making the mining contract obsolete on that particular ASIC miner that was used for or kryptonite algorithm that's used to actually mine Monero. And which means that your contract no longer mines Monero. So Genesis, in one sense, are in the process of they've had to change over to the other mining rigs, which is going to be which is going to give the ability for you to be able to get paid out in, I think it's called Electronium, or there's also, I think it's going to be, if I remember correctly, the hard fork was on actually Monero Cash, is it called, Claudia? You may have to correct me if I'm wrong there. I just looked at the video this morning, but they're also going to extend the contracts for 3 months. So this is something that was completely out of the control from Genesis Mining. This is something that Monero did on the algorithm, which meant that it probably primarily stopped your mining contracts from performing because they changed the algorithm. They did a hard fork. But just so that everyone knows that your contracts will be covered. Genesis are going to do that free of charge. They're going to extend your contract for 3 months, and they're going to actually change it over to the Electronium, or you'll have actually an option what to get paid out in, but the primary one at this stage will be the Electronium algorithm, which will be mined in substitute for the Monero one. That's pretty much how I read the update. Was that any further information from yourself, Claudia, on that?
Yeah, basically what it is, what it is, of course, in Bitcoin or in cryptocurrencies. So there's, of course, there's different ways to mine them. And so in Bitcoin is, of course, mined on ASICs. There's specialized machines, and most of the other contracts, they are mined on GPU rigs. And so Monero, what happened, of course, they then were mined on ASICs, and GPU rigs is a graphic card. Everybody has in his computer a graphic card. Cryptocurrency is supposed to, of course, be for everybody, for anybody, that anybody can get engaged into that. Now, with the A6 computers, where of course Monero as well was mined, or before this hard fork, the problem was that there's a few Chinese companies, they got the monopoly on that, and so that's never good, because you and I miss out, because you and I can't mine Monero, and so that's why this hard fork, because that makes it available again to mine on different rigs, and so basically this is the story behind, because what we never want is, again, and that's why we are in this cryptocurrency, that's why Swissquote Global added cryptocurrency, because gold and silver, of course, what it is, it's freedom. It is not centralized. Cryptocurrency, that's what it is supposed to be. It's not centralized. And so, but all of a sudden, what's happening when a few companies centralizing the production of hardware, that means, well, they have the monopoly on that. And so that really was something which wasn't really liked in the community, and that's the reason, of course, what happened in there in the hard fork, and that's basically the explanation how I understand it.
That's right, and the solution is, of course, that our members won't miss out there. That they'll actually they'll cross over and get paid out in the Electroneum algorithm, or the cryptocurrency, and they'll get an extension on their contract or automatically as well. So our engineers are in the process of working that out with Genesis Mining, but that's what's going to happen. So you members that have Monero, that's what's going to happen for you. So don't worry, we'll get that sorted for you.
Wonderful. And I guess you will, Swissquote Global will update those people with the mining contracts, yes?
Yeah, for sure. We'll do an email out just updating everyone actually regarding this this particular change. We'll get more details tomorrow from Genesis and from our engineers, but over the next couple of days, everyone will receive an email to have an update regarding this, because I believe the next couple of days Bitcoin Cash will be coming out as a payment option as well for our members, which is going to be great. So that'll be included in the same email. We expect that within the next 48 to 72 hours that you'll be able to select, if you want, to be able to pay it out in Bitcoin Cash as well instead of Bitcoin.
Correct. All right. So let me see if I'm seeing more questions here. There's one question coming, but I already answered that in the chat, because we can't really answer it. It needs to be answered by support there. So no point in doing that. Any updates? Any news? I know you're working again on exciting stuff there. So maybe you want to share something new. And meanwhile, people are typing in their questions. Do you have?
Yeah, well, there's lots happening, Claudia. I can't really address a lot of it right now. I'm back in Dubai, as you well know. I was in Zurich last week. No, it's moving ahead well with the regulatory authorities and things, and our ICO concept we're moving on. That's all developing, but I can't really say much more than that. Other than that, it's going to be very, very, very exciting. But we want to do it right. We want to be a sustainable company. We don't want to bring something out before being ready, and because companies do that, they make a lot of hype, they make a lot of noise, they come out, and before they know it, several months down the track, they've been shut down for whatever reasons. It may take a year, but they'll eventually be closed, because that's what's happening in the space right now. So we don't want to be one of those companies. So it's taken longer than we anticipated, but we're moving ahead. Yesterday, we actually were approved for one of the companies, which is great. We've been waiting on that for many, many months, so that's now approved. So now tomorrow we've got meetings with banks and things. So all these things have to be in place to be able to move forward before we can move ahead with our complete ICO in a regulated way. So that's really the news on that front, I suppose.
Wonderful. And of course, we with Swissquote Global, and you and I, and we're working on planning a tour for Australia. So for all of you guys who have people in Australia and Brisbane and Melbourne and where is it, Perth?
No, we're not going to Perth.
Okay. I want to go to Perth.
Well, you can, but I'm going to be on the East Coast. So primarily we're going to be on the East Coast of Australia, and Melbourne, and heading to Sydney. We're one of the leaders, Keithy, as well, and then heading from Sydney up to the Gold Coast, and the Gold Coast to Brisbane, and then back to Melbourne before partying back to Europe. So that's going to be in July. So I believe there's a site where people can register for that, and where we can connect, and by then we'll be able to give people updates regarding our new ICOs, etc. as well. We believe we're much more advanced than where we are now, because things are starting to speed up. So look forward to the opportunity of being able to meet people. But your presentation there, Claudia, regarding your residual income is really, really, really important. We're so focused sometimes on one particular thing. We love crypto or we love gold and silver, but it's all about diversification. And the affiliate program is such a powerful program. For $50 a month, you own an international business. You own an international business. In fact, it doesn't even cost you $50 a month. It's actually $37 a month, because 25% of that is actually an asset that you're actually getting within that $50. Now, one thing I learned many, many years ago, if you want to create financial freedom, you need to have there's different ingredients to that success. One is you've got to be able to compound your time, compound your wealth. Well, with our platform referral program, you can actually do that. You can make money while you're sleeping. You need to have short-term income. Well, you have that with the fast-track commissions that you actually earn when you actually pay people. When you actually refer people, you get paid a fast-track commissions. That's your short-term income. Also, your cryptocurrency is a short-term income, because when you refer people, you're getting mining power, which is paying you out on a daily basis, depending upon the amount of hash power that you have. You also need to have long-term income. That's the residual income that comes with your affiliate programs. It takes time to build that up. But primarily, when you have an organization of 6 or 7 people, anywhere in your first 2 levels of your organization, you are cash flow positive. Your business, your international global business, is costing you nothing. So this is really, really important. Then on top of that, if you add in the tax benefits, if you take the advantages of that, you're well and truly ahead of the game. So many of us don't look at when you look at a business concept, you have to look at all areas of that. And I believe that's when you look at Swiss Gold Global, you need to look at that. Just don't look at one particular module, the crypto module. Look at what the affiliate program offers you. Okay? Claudia joined 10 years ago, so she get her gold and silver for free. And she's certainly been doing that. For many, many, many years, she still gets her gold and silver free. She converts her affiliate commissions directly into gold and silver, directly into cryptocurrency mining packages. And if there's any left over after she buys shoes, I suppose she puts some savings away. So you people have the same possibility of doing that. The affiliate program for $50 a month is very, very powerful. But again, it's a different craft. You need to understand it. This is why it's great that Claudia and different leaders do these particular trainings in different parts of the world. Are there any questions there, Claudia?
I'm actually just typing with a prospect, which I'm going to join in with a $3,000 package. So no, there's no more questions coming at the moment. So.
Well, congratulations. Well, first of all, I hope you're serving the person, and you're going to pick up straight away $390 in affiliate commissions. $390, bam, done. And on top of that, you're going to earn, of course, your crypto hash power. So that's fantastic. I wish you much success with that. And this is, if you're not talking and sharing, well, you're not earning. And this is the whole point. So it's really important to get a great understanding. This is why it's good to be on these calls, to get the big picture of what Swiss Gold Global is about. And I believe this, what we're working on right now, is going to take us to a whole new level. It's going to be very, very, very exciting. But you're in the right sector. There's no question about it. You are in the right sectors right now when it comes to building wealth. Multiple streams of income, the residual income, very, very, very important. Gold and silver, don't leave that alone. What's happening to paper currencies out there, gold and silver, what Russia's doing, what China's doing, the amount of gold that they are purchasing is incredible in that respect. Turkey as well, okay? So these central banks are hoarding huge amounts of gold. Why are they doing it? Because they don't believe in paper currency in one sense. Well, you can do the same with Swiss Gold Global, and you can get your gold and silver for free. You can get your crypto for free through the referral program. Any other questions, Claudia?
Absolutely. I mean, in Russia is now the largest gold. I think they produce the largest. What is the largest gold production in the world? That's what Russia now is. Which is pretty amazing. I mean, they certainly doing these things. Why do they do that? Because again, of this currencies. I just read something about the yuan. The yuan or the renminbi, basically the Chinese money currency. They will gain power as well. And why? Well, because the US dollar, obviously, which is the what is it? What they call it? The currency which all others is pegged to. The US dollar.
Reserve currency.
Correct. So, I mean, you see all those things happening, which is you got to really ask yourself the question, well, why is that? You see all those trade things happening and those taxes and people asking me, and so this is a really great way to engage. Of course, if you get educated on that, to engage in a conversation with people and make people think. So why are those things happening? So there's certainly something which is there, which the normal people don't understand, don't see. And this is what you're going to learn, of course, through Swissquote Global, to protect yourself from the confiscation through inflation, which is happening. And therefore, of course, you know, basically live a better life, right?
For sure. I mean, the reason why this was set up 10 years ago, I came to realize, I've been in business since 1986, so in good cash flow through my hotel businesses. But I came to realize in early 2003 that the system, the monetary system, is designed. By design, it's there to transfer wealth away from you, and it does it through the effects of inflation. Now, once you understand that, you start thinking outside the box. It's about wealth preservation. It's about having multiple sources of income. It's about having different information coming to you so you can make different decisions. This is what we're really about. It's really important. And you know, once you realize that this paper wealth, I don't have my wallet with me, but this paper currency, regardless of what currency you're looking at, within the next 7 to 8 years is going to buy less than half than what it does today. That means you and I, we have to double our income in the next 5 or 6 or 7 years just to stay where we are now. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you want to stay where you are right now? Of course not. We all want to have a better life. We all want to have more freedom. We want to be able to give better opportunities to our loved ones and children and different things, education, experiences, charities. Well, to do that, we need to grow financially as well. But before we grow financially, we've got to grow between the years. This is what I had to realize. I had to change my thinking. But now multiple streams of income, going to bed at night knowing that you have an organization structure and you're actually generating wealth while you're sleeping, that is a game changer. It takes time, but I'm telling you, it works. No question about it. But it requires a different mindset, especially myself, born in the 1950s. Now I'm giving away my age. My mindset was brought up to work hard for a fair day's pay, trade your time for money. Now, I believe in hard work. I love what I do. But the truth of the matter is, if you just follow that one philosophy, you're never going to make yourself financially independent. That's the truth of it, actually. So once I came to that realization, I realized I needed to change my game plan. And then, of course, in 1986, I bought my first business, and I've been self-employed entrepreneur ever since then, which is the best thing that I ever did. That's not always rosy, you know, but what's the alternative? Having the same job, working for someone for 40 or 50 years or 40 years, 50 hours a week. I mean, there's risk associated with that as well. But if you do, most importantly, I think is if you're doing what you love, keep doing it, but still have a diversified income. Learn another skill, learn another craft. Have multiple streams of income coming so that you can really live your life and have fun, really enjoy your moment. This is really important. But that's pretty much it for me, Claudia, unless we have any other questions.
I was muted, and there is this flight here. There's a fly here, mosque. Anyhow, no, there's no more questions coming at the moment. I know we have a lot of new people on the course, so for all you new people, you know, go back and re-listen to the presentation. We have a lot of presentations on our YouTube channel as well. Get the information, talk to the person again who invited you. If this is all sounds like, wow, this is too much information, relax. Keep it simple. Just understand you got to own some gold and silver. The best way to start with gold and silver is basically by setting up a account with us and you know, start getting KYC compliant and get some gold and silver. Make it like a savings plan. Just like if you would anyway spend the money, instead of spending the money in whatever fast food or other stuff or drinks, do a coffee less a day and put some aside in gold and silver. And as of course, Kitty actually from Australia shows it very well to his people, his team, just save whatever, $35 a week and purchase yourself every week a little mining contract. And what's happening is you're compounding your time, you're compounding your wealth. Why? Well, because with this little mining contract, this little gold contract as well, you start accumulate real wealth. And then when you keep sharing the business with this, again, like the membership, you know, you're gonna get more dollars, which you then can use in convert them into gold, silver, or spend it, or of course get more mining. And as more mining, of course, you're gonna get, as more bitcoins you will earn, and as more money you will make. Okay, thank you. Susanna, thank you for liking the presentation. It's good that you got the details in that. But Bill, there's no more questions. James' question is addressed. So, well, it's not addressed because we can't, he needs to really send an email to Swissquote Global, which he's going to do. And I do see no other question. Hi, Janella. Hello to all of you who I know. Oh, Dr. Adrian Blue is on the call. Hello, Dr. Blue. That's wonderful. I really want to go back to the States and touring with you. It was so nice last year. Cheryl, Colin, James, it's all great to have you guys here. Roni, Rosalind, Susanna, Paul. We have a training with your team tomorrow, which is great. I believe it's your team in the US. Paul is from the UK. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right. Okay. Well, with that, thank you so much. It's on the hour. Thank you, Bill. And I look forward to see each and everybody back on Saturday, this Saturday.
Thank you.